Good evening. Welcome to Southeastern 16's reaction to Auburn and Baylor. As we start, there's a little bit over 2 minutes left on the clock. I'm joined by Blake Lovell and gloating Jay Greeson. I was not going to do that, Jay. I mean, because if I had done that in Auburn, you know, something goes wrong, but you do you. I'm just going to turn over to Blake so I can be blameless in this whole thing, just in case.
What were the FanDuel odds on Jay Greeson dancing less than 15 seconds into the stream? They had to be pretty good based on this result.
They were minus 15,000.
Yeah, had to be pretty good with those odds. But yes, before we jump into the fun and excitement here, as you know, our title sponsor, FanDuel this season. Check them out, all the stuff they got going on there. Auburn fans may be jumping in on the college football playoff bet right now for the Tigers. As I'm looking at it right now, it's locked currently, folks. So we got to get an updated number from our friends at FanDuel to make the college football playoff. But you can check out all the stuff over there if you want to bet on these games tomorrow. Same game parlays. By the way, too, don't forget, you can actually get in on the action right now. Like, you can still get some action. Chris, last night, Jay, we were going live after the Missouri game. The spread had been updated to 60.5. And I told Chris, I said, get a little action on Central Arkansas here. All they got to do is score a point, and they're going to be fine. They did. Wind up being 61-6. So, Jay, he needed some advice there. So.
Oh, no, there's tons of advice. But I loved Missouri in just the action. And there are so many different ways to enjoy whether you have a gambling affliction or just want to watch a game. FanDuel offers you all these possible plays, because while I am giddy about Auburn's win tonight, I was on Cam Coleman plus 150 on the player prop to score a touchdown, to catch a touchdown tonight. And you know what? That's the best loss I've ever had.
Well, before we jump in, Chris, I'm going to throw it back to you to get us rolling here. The chat, a little lively tonight, as we would expect. Still, I think the best avatar we have is Bruce Burrow here, is the king of the north there for this one on Floppy Toppy there. And we'll talk about this maybe. Feels bad, man. Says the defense leaves a bit to be desired. We'll talk a bit about that. Also, Chris Lee's hair looking as good as Jackson Arnold's zone reads tonight. That's another thing we got there. So got that going. But, yeah, so some initial thoughts here as we jump into it. Chris, get us going.
I don't know about that. I think Jackson Arnold look better than anything I've done today. But yeah, I mean, look, if you didn't see most of this game, and I get that Baylor ran up a bunch of yards, I thought Auburn was really impressive tonight. You know, the SEC has long been a line of scrimmage league. I think Auburn felt to me like won both sides of that, particularly with the offensive line, which was terrific. Jackson Arnold was everything you can hope and more. And you may look back and say, hey, they threw for, as we're doing this, 108 passing yards. If you saw the game, if you saw the holes, the line was open, if you saw what happened every time he took off, he was a nightmare. I think the guy may end up leading the league in drawing personal fouls by the end of the year, because he just takes off in the middle of the field. He gets 15 yards downfield and he slides, and he's going to end up drawing some late hits. I hope that doesn't cost him, but look, I think if you're Auburn, you had to feel really good about how you looked tonight. Jay, I mean, you're the resident Auburn grad here. You tell me if that's fair.
I'll tell you the thing that jumped off the stat sheet for me, and we started right before the game ended. Auburn had 3 ball carriers with 15 carries.
Yeah.
And one of them was Jackson Arnold, and he went for 100 plus. Alston went for 80. Cobb went for 70. And if you've got that type of diversity, it tells you 2 things. One, this is a offense Hugh Freeze really wants to dictate. And 2, it's an offensive line. And maybe that's Baylor's undersized defensive line. I don't know. I texted you guys the other night. It may have been last night. I woke up and I thought, you know what? Auburn wins by 2 scores. And so here we are. And does that translate from Big 12 to SEC? I don't know. Because I also would have thought that Auburn was going to win by 2 scores because Cam Coleman was going to have 8 catches for 127 yards and a touchdown. But they didn't need that.
Well,
yeah. I mean, the zone read with him tonight was just unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, they got whatever they wanted on that play, Jay.
They got everything they wanted on that and more. I mean,
yeah.
And here's the thing about modern day football. And the most important thing, and I've said this multiple times talking with you, Chris, and Blake. If Auburn's offense through the years, over the last through a handful of years, if they can find a quarterback who is not only a good runner, but a willing runner, they are going to have success because Peyton Thorne wasn't a willing runner. You look back through the years, and maybe not since Nick Marshall has Auburn had a quarterback willing to run, not just capable of running, but willing to run. And now Jackson Arnold looked like he was chomping at the bit to run the football. I mean, I don't even know what the final numbers were, but I know he's well north of 100, and he boondoggled Baylor.
Yeah,
he was 16 for $137. Right? Yeah. Sorry, Blake.
Yeah, 16 and 137, 2 touchdowns. Had the long of 27 there on that one. Passing numbers for Jackson Arnold, 11 and 17, 108. The final numbers there. So, yeah, I mean, if just look at the numbers as a whole: 307 rushing yards for Auburn, 415 total yards. So again, you can do the math and see how much that contributed to the cause there. Just a couple other,
To that point, visor tip to Hugh Freeze for doing my version of what Steve Spurrier told me one time sitting next to him at a rubber chicken dinner. If you find a scab, pick it till it bleeds. And let them bleed them out. So don't start throwing it just because you think you need to throw it. They ran the ball down their throat.
I thought the middle of their offensive line was just elite tonight. Connor Lew, Jeremiah Wright, and I can't remember the other one too. I mean, they're really good there. I just thought, their backs were physical. They got a good running start. They just killed it, I think, in the A gap all night. And then those guys were not afraid of, contact either. That they got some yards, not a ton of yards after contact, but they'd get another yard or two after contact pretty consistently with the momentum. I just thought they were a juggernaut offensively tonight. And Jay Greeson, stat of the night, there's a lot of stuff on the stat sheet that stands out. And I'll give you a hint, though. Think back to last year before you give me your final answer here. That was a question.
What was the question?
I said stat of the night. Give me your answer.
Oh.
That Auburn didn't miss a field goal?
Well, that was one. The other one is Auburn didn't turn it over.
All right. I'll take both of those. I mean,
Right.
And look, man, all of us who have watched the SEC Any Given Saturday documentary, there are a handful of those dudes who coaches, players, whatever else came out you liking more. I actually like Billy Napier way more after that documentary than I did beforehand. I also like Peyton Thorne way more after the documentary than I did. But I would have been happy to drive to Auburn from Chattanooga, Tennessee to help him move his stuff to get out of Auburn, Alabama. But untimely turnovers, look, we've done 1,000 prediction shows. And if you're a gambler, you argue against the median. And turnovers, missed field goals, one-loss games, all of those things find their ways to work back to the middle. Auburn was terrible in all of those categories a year ago, which is one of the reasons why I say Auburn is a potential playoff team. I truly do.
Yeah. Well, and they also picked up a bonus when Rayshawn Pleasant ran back a kickoff. Like, he was great at that at Tulane. And so, like, that's something. Yeah, we spent a lot of time talking about what it could look like for Auburn. And I said I think Auburn is the biggest wild card in the league for the reasons anybody that's familiar with Auburn probably knows. But maybe we didn't spend enough time talking about, and look, maybe this is premature. We want to see how it goes when Auburn is just not just ripping a team with the better front seven in the gaps like it did tonight. Again, like you said, they should have done it and done it and done it again. Let's see what it looks like. I did think with Jackson Arnold how to throw the ball, he threw it really well. They didn't throw it a lot, so we'll see what that looks like when he throws it more. But, man, it would just be hard for me to be more impressed with what I saw. And like we talked about all the downsides of Jackson Arnold. Maybe we didn't spend enough time saying, all right, what if this guy is like the top 10 recruit in the country that Oklahoma thought it was getting a couple of years ago? That it let Dylan Gabriel walk because it was going to be his job. I mean, that's 2 for 2 now where we've seen 2 SEC games. And look, last night was Central Arkansas and Missouri. So I don't want to, let's not get over our skis about Missouri, but that's 2 quarterbacks. We spent our whole offseason talking about the great quarterback play in the league. We didn't spend a lot of time grouping Jackson Arnold and Bo Pribula in those, and both of them just couldn't have looked any better first games with their new teams.
Yeah, let's go to the chat for a second. I know some people are weighing in with some thoughts on this one. Of course, you guys can jump in with your super chats. Make sure we don't miss your comments. We got a lot of people in here tonight, 550 plus almost now. So to make sure we get to your comment, leave a super chat. You guys know how it works. And nine-time champion jumping on in, called it last night on the Missouri stream. Said, you know what? All you got to do is fade Chris Lee. And if you do that, you'll be all right. And so everybody faded Chris Lee tonight. Auburn gets the win at Baylor. And let's get to some other comments from you guys here. I know some people are talking about the defense a little bit. And before that, I wanted to quickly note, because I know it was talked about, Jackie Marshall going out 2 for Baylor, not ideal for them. A guy up front that, again, you talk about just wearing down the line play. That's not going to be ideal if Baylor's moving forward without him there. And, that was kind of a storyline, but, it just played into the consistency of Auburn, just kind of, again, just going right at him, bullying him a bit, running him down. And so, that was something else that people mentioned. Deacon with a good stat here, 7.2 yards per carry on first down. That'll get it done. I think if you're Auburn. And also, I think the best quote of the night from Jackson earlier here on this one, you put a bunch of dogs on a plane and send them to Texas. What did you think was going to happen? Quote Dylan Cardwell this past season in basketball. So.
The defense, again, the box score was kind of ugly for Auburn's defense. But if you noticed, one guy made two of the biggest plays of the night, and that was Keldrick Falk. He had a stop in the first half. They had a 3rd and goal, and they ran a run blitz and stopped him in the backfield, and then got I think a pass breakup on the next play to keep, Baylor from any points there. And then he had one later. I've got notes here. See if I can get to it. He batted down a pass like on a 3rd and 8 late that ended the drive too. Like, all you needed to do the way your offense was going tonight was get a couple of stops at big times. And I thought Keldrick Falk made maybe the biggest, at least 2 of the 3 biggest defensive plays for Auburn tonight.
All right. Couple things. The stat sheet is going to lie to you because the last touchdown at the end of the first half was a busted coverage, and those happen. Second, gang, don't read too much into the stat sheet. When we talked about the pressure cooker this was for the Auburn locker room, fan base, and coaching staff, going on the road and playing a true road game and getting a W. I don't give a doggone if it was 3-2, a la the old Mississippi State game. Regardless what it is. And if I sound like a homer, yes, I went to Auburn. But this is not Homer-esque. This is reality-based. This is about developing belief in the locker room. Period. End of conversation. So from the springboard forward, you guys in the chat can shout at me all you want. Okay, they threw for 107 yards. Okay, that's not going to work in the SEC. Okay, how did it work for Cam Newton? I'm just waiting for the chat
here. He's got.
Well,
waiting for the chat.
And I see some stuff in the comments that Auburn's offense is going to get figured out. And okay, it's one game.
Well, you know what? They figured out what worked against the Baylor defense.
Yeah.
How's that the bad thing?
Well, hey, look, 2 things, okay? You're going to someone else's building on the road. The whole town is hyped to be there. Like, you're Baylor. You don't get an SEC team in your building a lot. It's a season opener. People have had all off season to look to this game. That's number 1. Number 2, it's a Big 12 game. The Big 12 plays, Big 12 is like whoever's got the ball last wins. Yes, the stat sheet was ugly with the yards. You held them to 24 points because you got stops when you needed. It was a take care of business night. And I think if you're going to really nitpick this and that, and if you watch the game, I think, if that's your stance, you missed the point. I don't know if Auburn's going to the playoff. I don't know if Auburn is – I don't know how this is going to translate. You see a lot of stuff in week 1 that doesn't translate. But for what we could see in 60 minutes tonight, you had to be really happy from an Auburn standpoint about what you saw. And anything other than that is, okay, well, we'll see. We'll see how it holds up down the line. But for tonight, Auburn took care of business.
And to be honest, to a whole lot of our smarter commenters in the chat, I'm not comparing him to Cam Newton. Cam Newton's the single best regular season college football player I've ever seen. I am not comparing him to that. But this was a 2.5-point game. And Auburn went in there and controlled it from start to finish. How is an Auburn fan guilty of being giddy about this?
Yeah, any team would be happy with this win on its resume. Baylor's a borderline top 25 team, got a lot of just offensive playmaker after offensive playmaker coming back. So what? You gave up some points. You figured that might happen. What you didn't know was your offense was going to look that good. And that's got to be your takeaway. And to me, that's where it stops. All right, we'll tee it up next couple of weeks, see how it looks. But to make proclamations about what they can't do, offensive, I just think are premature because they took what was there and they did it. Like you said, it's picking at a scab, Jay. That's absolutely what they should have done.
Although, can I before Blake, you reset us and you chat us through the comments? That's a beautiful shirt, Chris. That is a wonderful shirt.
It is a great shirt.
I mean, it's flowing and it speaks to me. I mean, it's just really nice.
Yeah.
I thought that was really what stood out to me. I mean, we were going to talk about what stood out about the game, but to me, I was like, the one thing that stood out was really Chris's shirt.
Yeah, because normally he's in that
T-shirt,
Canadian football hoodie or a T-shirt. And now he looks like he just got off the back nine at Pebble Beach. I mean, he looks great.
Spoiler: you may be seeing more of these on the podcast. We'll see where that goes.
Oh, wow.
Maybe I should have worn mine, Chris. We could have been twins. No, I have a different one. I know what you're talking about, but I have a different one than you. All right, so I'm going to reset here quickly, and we'll talk about, because I know some people again are debating how good is Baylor, but I'll say this: like, I think it's like, I don't know how good Baylor is at this point, but I can take the 1 game sample size and see that I think that Auburn did a lot of good things against a Baylor team that I think still has a chance to win some games this year. But it's game 1. This is what we do. And we talk about all this stuff, and something else we talk about is our friends at Game Time Sidekicks, folks. You knew it was coming. Let me make sure I get the right team in the center position here. Have I gone past it yet? Where am I at? Where is it?
Keep going. There, stop.
There he is, right there. The Auburn Tigers represented here on this SEC Cup from our friends at Game Time Sidekicks. And, check it out. We keep telling you about it. Incredible stuff over there. Officially licensed stainless steel drinkware. All the SEC schools are there. Auburn fans, jump on over there. Get you a cup. Get you all kinds of fun stuff. Over 350 more universities as well. If you're a Baylor fan watching this, you're like, you know what? I need a Game Time Sidekicks cup after that game. Go on over there. Buy you a cup. You can do that because they just have tremendous stuff. As we've been saying, stainless steel sippy cups, tumblers, 40-ounce bottles, shaker cups, tons of designs and logos there. If you want a discount, SE16, 20% discount to all our viewers there. So I'm going to put that link in right now. Go buy your cups, celebrate your team's victory or loss, and head on over to Game Time Sidekicks to check it out. Remember, too, ROKFORM, the world's strongest magnetic phone case. If you're an Auburn fan, didn't have to throw your phone across the room tonight. But if you did, the strongest magnetic phone case, maybe the thing just come right back to you. That's what I think it does. I might give it a shot here in a second. They just come right back to you. Extreme protection, super strong magnets, rock lock secure mounting at ROKFORM. Quality is paramount. So you get the same military-grade standards with their case accessories as you do the actual cases. Go buy it all. SEC25 for 25% off. SEC25, 25% off over at ROKFORM. And quickly, one more plug. It's what we do. We got to pay the bills here, folks. Remember, our merch store is now live and in living color over at this link I'm going to drop in the chat for you guys. If you want to buy your Southeastern 16 merch, it's coming, as William says. Don't forget the merch store. Can't wait for the Kiss of Death shirt. That's coming as well. Go check out our merch over there, and a lot of fun stuff. You guys are already buying up the merch. We appreciate your support of the channel. Starter kit available now. New merch dropping next month. Team-specific merch, which I think some of you guys will enjoy. All right, back to the show. Chris.
Yeah, I mean, if you're joining it late, I was just super impressed with Auburn. I see all the nitpicking in the chat, all the proclamations of Auburn won't be able to do this, you can't do that. Hey, look, I've said all along, I've been the low man on Auburn here. I want to see a little proof, want to see what it looks like. You give credit where credit is due. If your stance is, I want to see what it looks like before I make a choice, I feel way better about Auburn after tonight than I did coming in.
And I'll go a step further, Chris, because every time we've talked about it, one of the main reasons I believed in Auburn was because I thought they had the best wide receiver room in the country. They didn't call in the wide receiver room.
Yeah.
They put 38 plus on the board in a true road game against a team that a lot of people think may win a Power 4 conference with a less than 2-point spread that a whole lot of people were calling for an upset. And they did it by running it down their damn throat.
Yeah, I mean, Auburn won a football game on the road against a good team by 2 touchdowns, and the strength of its team was mostly a non-factor because other stuff worked.
So I'm going to pull this up here quickly from, let's see, where was the comment at? From Nelson. I know we've talked about the positives and such, but if you are trying to find some things, we mentioned, could they be one-dimensional on offense? People are pointing that out. I know the penalties are frustrating. We talked about that with Missouri last night. That kind of just sometimes happens early on, but as Nelson says here, glad we won. Defense couldn't cover well. Tackling was awful. Is that a worrisome trend potentially moving forward? I mean, what? You just kind of look at it as we'll keep an eye on it next several weeks, see how it develops. But
it's game 1.
Yeah, I mean, it's something, though. It's something to talk about.
And, all right. It's easy to take the narrative that they didn't cover well because of the play late in the first half, right? So,
yeah.
I mean, and that was a bust. Okay. But leaving Waco with a W as an Auburn graduate, I am not picking at any pimples on Cindy Crawford's beautiful butt right now.
well, with that image in my head,
it's quite a comparison.
I just looked at Phil Steele had Baylor to win the league, by the way. Didn't
right.
know that. I pulled it up because I want to look at their point totals from a year ago. I mean, I'm looking, going back from the end of the year. And remember, this is a team that found playmakers that maybe weren't supposed to be their guys at the end of the year. And the offense got really good late in the season. I get the Big 12 isn't a great defensive league, but 45 on Kansas, 20 on Houston, 49 on West Virginia, 37 on TCU, 38 on Oklahoma State, 59 on Texas Tech. Those were 6 straight wins, by the way. Again, you got in a Big 12 type of game, which, again, if you're picking games that going in, you're worried that Auburn cannot win this type of game. That is exactly the scenario that you would have drawn up. Guess what? They went and won it. I just think that dissecting the game for anything other than what it was and how good they looked, you can talk about they might not be able to do this or that. Let's let it play out and let's give them their flowers tonight. Because I think if you're not, you just, I don't know, either you didn't see the game or maybe you're not being fair about it.
Well, I'll go you a step further, Chris, because we talked about this in a whole bunch of our conversations over the last couple of weeks. If you're an SEC fan, you need to celebrate this. And now you need to cheer for Baylor. Because do I think Auburn's going to get to Atlanta? No. But in the SEC, if Baylor wins the Big 12 and Auburn went there and win by 2 scores, and regardless of what it is, it's the head-to-head comparison that at the end of the year, when we're doing the beauty pageant type stuff about who gets in and who doesn't, then this is a great win for the SEC.
Absolutely. I mean, and if those things are going to matter, if the committee is serious and strength of schedule is going to matter, then, an Auburn team, you look up at the end of the year, let's say that they lost to, I don't know, I'll just pick 3. Alabama, Missouri, Georgia. Okay, you would have wins over A&M, Oklahoma, Baylor, Vanderbilt. I mean, I'm just throwing that out there to make a point. You can pick them. I mean, like if they only lose 3 games, then they will have gained a lot of quality wins. And tonight certainly is a notch in the belt that way.
Couple more things here as we look at it. Remember, next up for Auburn, we've talked about the schedules a lot this summer, but it all kinds of runs together. Auburn fans know. Next up, they got Ball State. Next week, South Alabama. After that, then things really kick up at Oklahoma the following week after that. So, yeah, back-to-back road games, Oklahoma and A&M to open up SEC play, then come back for Georgia. So, it is kind of something where we said it's one game. There are things you can take away from this, and, the coach speak will be we have to improve here, have to improve there. We've looked at some of the things that potentially that they will like to improve on heading into the next couple weeks. But we also know that there are some good things too, as you guys have pointed out, with Jackson Arnold and company that they can build upon. And so that's the upcoming schedule there for Auburn. We'll get to the $5 super chat here from Eric, who weighs in. Jay, would you like to epic games between Auburn, LSU, Gen X? Would love to see it every year. Eric would. So.
Actually, I've been to so many of the glorious LSU Auburn games. I was at the earthquake game in '88.
Wow.
Where LSU denied Auburn a national championship, and the LSU win registered on the Richter scale. I was at the game that Saban was on the sideline for LSU. I want to say it was 2005. And I was in the stands as a fan in '94 with when Auburn returned all the interceptions for touchdowns. In my lifetime, truly, LSU, I watched when John Vaught missed those 5 field goals. And, man, one of the meanest social media posts I've ever seen was after the game, somebody posted John Vaught was going to hang himself in the locker room, but he missed the kick trying to knock the stool out from under him. So, I mean, he missed 5 field goals, and Auburn lost 23-20. And, I mean, it was, LSU Auburn is every bit what – all right, look, the Iron Bowl is uncharacteristically filthy. I mean, for God's sakes, Harvey Updike died in prison to poison trees because somebody desecrated Nick Saban's statue. I mean, I don't know what other narrative you need than that. And I grew up in Georgia, and my wife's a Georgia graduate, but Auburn LSU has forever been an amazing football game. So in that regard, yes. I don't know how I can put it for Gen Xers, baby boomers, whomever else.
We do medal stands after game nights.
I forgot about the medal stand.
Should we do a medal stand? I've got.
We only got one game. How can you do a medal stand for one game?
No, we got 2 games. We didn't instant react to last night's game.
We do a medal stand for Missouri and.
Come on.
Yeah.
I feel like the minimum has to be like at least 5. But all right. Medal stand. We're handing out participation medals here. Here we go. All right.
We're medal stand.
Come on, okay. Chris. Go ahead.
All right, I will go with my bronze. Keldrick Falk made 2 big plays tonight. You could give it to the Auburn offensive line. I'll give it to Bo Prabula last night for an excellent performance. And gold medal's got to be Jackson Arnold based on tonight.
Go, Blake.
No. I like to be last on the medal stand as I think about my medals over here.
All right. I am going to go Auburn offensive line with my bronze medal because you got that many dudes rushing the ball that many times for that many yards. God bless you. I'm going to go Jackson Arnold with my silver medal. And I'm going to go with my gold medal to Hugh Freeze because I said this was the most important game in his coaching career all summer. And if he's going to win it, then I got to give him his flowers. Period. End of conversation.
All right. I'll go. I'll just play it the easy way. I'll go Rayshawn Pleasant with the bronze.
Oh, yeah.
That play, I'm like, that just, it changed the game. Baylor had just made that drive. All of a sudden it's back to a touchdown. And then you just come back and just an absolute gut punch right to a team that just was like, hey, come on, this is our chance. Didn't happen. So I'll go him, and then I'm going to just keep it simple with the two quarterbacks. I'll go Perbula with the silver, and I'll go Jackson Arnold with the
and a side note, if Sam Horn is truly hurt again, then whatever quarterback controversy, Perbula not only played great, he then won by default.
I mean, I know it's Central Arkansas, but he looked good.
Great.
I mean, he did look good.
Oh, my God. He looked the whole – and my FanDuel account will greatly appreciate the Thursday night double dip of Missouri and South Florida. So God bless America.
God, how about South Florida? They've got Florida next week, by the way, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
Yes.
Yeah, that's more interesting than we would have thought. If you didn't catch it last night, South Florida just put a beat down on Boise. I think it was 31-7.
Yep.
So Alex Golish getting it done.
All right. Before we jump into the final segment here, remember, check out our friends at FanDuel, folks. We keep talking about them with all these odds. If you want your updated Auburn, will they make the playoff odds? Currently locked. We'll get some updated odds on that, I'm sure, very soon after this victory. I'm sure the odds will start to come out for Auburn's game against Ball State next week. Of course, you can check out all the odds, get in on the same game parlays, all kinds of wagers on each of these SEC games. Tomorrow, plenty of action over there. Ohio State -1.5 against Texas. Tennessee still around 13.5 point favorite against Syracuse. Mississippi State, one of the more notable line movements I think we've seen over the past several days, now up to 14.5 against Southern Miss. I think, Jay, that was 11.5 at one point several days ago, I believe. And so, yeah, some movement there. Kentucky Toledo, a very interesting one, -9.5 now for the Cats on that one, and all your other action over there. And Jay, quickly, I want to give you, I told Chris last night, I want you to give Chris the stat. He specifically asked me a question. He said, the one that stood out to him was, does anybody think that Georgia isn't going to beat Marshall by 38.5 or more? And I said, Chris Lee, I heard a Jay Greeson stat this week, and I'm going to tell you exactly what it was that should make you a little bit worried about that number. So
Kirby Smart is 0-13 against the spread.
Wow.
In point spreads that are higher than 38.
38, Chris. I couldn't remember the number, but I knew it was close. 38. There you go.
How many times was Kirby Smart facing a team in its opener that got on a bus and drove 1,000 miles southwest with the entire team?
No, not in a million years am I advising any of our betting friends to get on to bet Marshall. I'm just cautioning you about Georgia. and I'll add this to it. I don't know the exact numbers, but it's pretty something close to like 2-17 when Nick Saban played non-conference teams when he was 5 touchdowns or more favored against the spread. So where did Kirby learn this from? He empties the bench. He lets everybody play. It is, look, man, if y'all want a handful of plays, if we got to do like a special show that I'm going to make Blake wake up and I got like 5 golden plays tomorrow morning. And the first one is Wagner. Yes.
I was not expecting
Anybody
that.
want to name Wagner's mascot?
The Seahawks.
Oh my God, Chris, you
Look
are
at that.
such a nerd.
Look
I
at
am.
You are like nerd-tastic. I don't care how cool your shirt is.
that was great.
Yeah. That's going to be a blood.
Yeah, all right, fine. You just ended the segment.
It's a blood.
Fine,
That's it.
I'm going to
That's
bed.
it.
Then
We're-
just cut it
we're wrapping
off,
it.
and everybody.
All
Okay. I'm going to call a shot here. I got one for you guys. Do they ever set lines on game day? Like who's going to host game day? Is that ever a thing?
Oh, it's gotta be Oklahoma, Michigan next week. It's gotta be.
Well, I was going to step beyond that because I'm looking at
Oh.
week 4, gentlemen, and I may be missing somebody. I don't have every single game in front of me, but I've got just about all the big ones. And I may have missed something when I'm going through this, but try this on for size. Okay. Yeah, Oklahoma, Michigan could be game, and that could be Norman. That could undo the prediction I'm about to make here.
I know, and that's what I was gonna say. I know where you're going with this, but
But-
I think
but-
if they do Oklahoma, Michigan next week, I don't know if they go back 2 weeks later.
Well, here's the catch. Okay, I was like, what are the 2 biggest games on the card for week 4 that I'm looking at? And again, I may have missed somebody, but I'm thinking Michigan, Nebraska. That's interesting. Both could be 3-0 potentially. Auburn, Oklahoma could both be 3-0. Now, both those can't happen because Michigan and Oklahoma play in Norman next week.
Yeah.
But I would love this, okay? Oklahoma takes down Michigan next week, setting up a pair of 3-0 teams because Auburn and Oklahoma are going to take care of business in their other games. And you've got the return of Jackson Arnold to Norman with both teams unbeaten.
I mean, it's not unprecedented, right? They've done this before. Like they've gone, to the same place. If it's the only one that worked out. Like I'm looking at the week 2 schedule, and like to me, there is simply no other option than Oklahoma and Michigan. Like I just don't. There's not another game on the board that even comes close. Like I would say, like Missouri and Kansas is like a top 5 option, all things considered. Like just with next week's schedule, and that's not a knock on Missouri, but like. That's probably one of your top 5 games next week, period. So I think it's got to be Oklahoma and Michigan. So
You got Iowa State. That could be.
I don't think so.
I'm just gonna tell Quinn War Damn Eagle. I feel like it's needed.
The ultimate legend for the super chats. Quinn is simply again, this just one of a kind. One of a kind is Quinn. $4.99 on the super chat. Thought we'd win by 15. Put the boots to the asses, Quinn says. And he also points out with $4.99 as well that Chris doubted him. And then for another $4.99, we're just gonna go WD. So that's like a 3-act play there with Quinn.
Right back at you, Quinn. Right back at you, buddy.
So there you go.
And I had to watch it through my phone, covering high school football at my local high school, doing my day job.
Were you at the Manning debut?
No, he's an 8th grader,
Oh, okay.
but he goes to Baylor school. My
Okay.
kids go to Signal Mountain.
All right. Here's what we're going to do on the way out here. We're about to wrap up. It's an hour later for Jay than it is Chris and I. So you guys in the chats, we still got a lot of you in here. As we always like to say, leave your thoughts. If you're an Auburn fan, Give us an emoji on the way out. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button. Don't forget to do that. Give us kind of your final grade, your emoji, anything you want to kind of wrap up your thoughts on Auburn's 38-24 win tonight at Baylor. Or you can just do what Quinn did. Just say, you know what? Let's just keep it simple. Let's just do WDE again. Why not? You can do that. And any games you're most interested in for tomorrow as well, throw that into the chat. We'll have it covered here at Southeastern 16. You guys know. Check out all the preview prediction videos we've done this week on the channel. We'll be back with multiple live streams tomorrow. We'll definitely be doing one after that first slate of games, which includes Texas, Ohio State, Tennessee, Syracuse, and more. We'll be back right after those wrap up. We'll do a stream then, hoping that we can do one after the Alabama, Florida State. That's a big game. Not that you Auburn fans would jump into that one. Unless Alabama loses, then I know you will. But then we've got our primetime reaction show late night again tomorrow night. We'll be jumping on around 9:30 or 10 Central. That's the show each week, just like we did last season, where we wrap up the entire day. I'm sure we'll do the medal stand. Chris will be excited about the medal stand tomorrow night. And we'll have a lot of fun with our primetime reaction show tomorrow night. So there you go.
I'm going to ask you guys, taking LSU, Clemson, and Texas, Ohio State out of it, because those are just two fantastic games. What's the one game you're most intrigued by the rest of the weekend? I won't just say tomorrow, because Sunday is South Carolina, Virginia Tech, in terms of all the rest.
Do you want to go last again?
I'll go last again because I'm trying to remember all the games you just mentioned that I couldn't say. What are the ones you said I couldn't?
Well, I think let's throw out the 30-point spreads. Okay, you can't, and you also can't choose Texas, Ohio State, and LSU, Clemson. So this would be your list of games in order of kickoff.
No, I've got it. I just wanted to make sure the ones. Yeah, I wanted to make sure the ones I couldn't choose. Now I'm good.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Jake.
I mean, really, it's a menu of probably 4 games.
It's not many.
I mean, maybe 5 if you think A&M's interesting just because it's an in-state game. But
well, I don't. I don't care if they're playing on Pluto.
Generous,
but
you were.
The truth of it is, my top 2. I've got a 1A and 1B. 1A is Tennessee at Syracuse, because if Joey Aguilar can be him, Tennessee's a playoff, can be a playoff team. And I've now seen a whole lot of analytical metrics numbers that have them among the top 8 or 9 teams in terms of odds getting to the playoff. Now, that may be roster, that may be defense, that may be a whole lot of things, could be schedule. But if Joey Aguilar looks like a dude, Tennessee's going to be a problem. And then the other one, my 1B is, well, I'm not going to go 1B because I don't want to rob my man Blake. Blake, you go.
Well, I think I'm very fascinated by South Carolina, Virginia Tech, and I think it's just
that was my 1B.
Yeah, and we talked about it, right? It's like, and you've said, Jay, it's like, I mean, South Carolina's got a dude. Like, and when you got a dude under center, like you should be fine. And I think we talked about, like, with Virginia Tech, I mean, again, you want to talk about hot seats. My goodness. Brent Pry's seat's pretty hot there. And you've got quite a few, returning starters on defense. You got a new defensive coordinator. I think Phil still had him as one of his most improved teams, potentially. Thinks maybe it's the most talented roster Pry's had there. And they don't seem to have a lot of huge question marks. And they were a team that lost several close games last year. So if some of that goes back in your favor, I feel like, you can build around the defense, but man, they got a lot to replace on offense. They still got a great quarterback, but man, they got a lot to replace there. And, of course, Auburn fans know their new offensive coordinator, have some familiarity there. But yeah, I kind of want to see how South Carolina looks against a Virginia Tech team that I think is pretty interesting, but don't really know what to make of them right now heading into the Beamer Bowl.
Yeah, see, I think that Carolina is going to win that one comfortably. like I haven't given two thoughts to Virginia Tech winning that game, and maybe that's my bad because of the way South Carolina has performed or not performed in openers under Shane Beamer, but I just think they're that much better. Tennessee's one that intrigues me. I think they win, but I just want to see what the quarterback thing looks like. I think the sneaky one might be Mississippi State. Quinn pointed it out because nobody's talking about them. Everybody's dismissed them as awful because you got so many other teams to talk about. And they may be awful. I don't know. But it's year 2 under Jeff Levy. They really, really went out and got some defensive linemen to help them allegedly in the run game, which is a place where they're awful last year. And hey, year 2, guy I thought got a lot offensively out of his parts a year ago. I'm just and he's facing a Southern Miss team. They're going to be fired up. They're going to be laying in wait because how often does Mississippi State come to start or to Hattiesburg? And then you've got State or Southern Miss is the team that, they took all of Marshall, the Sun Belt champs, and went down to Hattiesburg with Charles Huff. So I just think just all the unknowns there with that one. I think the line, Jay, hasn't the line on that one crept up a couple of points, or am I thinking Kentucky? Or is it jumped? Them?
Yeah, I said earlier it's jumped from like 11.5 to 14.5 now. And that was just several days ago. It was 11.5. So.
And didn't Kentucky jump from about 7.5 to 10.5?
It's 9.5.
No, it went the other direction. It started at 12.5, went down to 7.5, now bounced back up.
Right, but I meant this week. It's gone up a couple this week, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not as convinced Kentucky's losing to Toledo as a lot of people are. I think they win that one and maybe comfortably. We'll see.
Well, and not to get too deep into our FanDuel buddies, but I love Toledo in every first quarter, first half metric because of the experienced quarterback and what Kentucky doesn't know. The Tyler Gleason kid who threw for 3,400 yards and 28 touchdowns a year ago is legit. And he's got 3 of his top 4 pass catchers back. And I know nobody turned in at 12:22 Eastern for some gambling picks, but Toledo early is going to scare the living britches off of Kentucky. Do I think Kentucky wins a game? Yes. Do I think they may pull away? Of course. But all of my money is on Toledo early.
What is do you guys have FanDuel pulled up?
Yep. What do you need?
I've got it memorized at this point, bro. I've been studying it like nobody's business. Are you kidding me?
What is Vanderbilt Charleston Southern at the moment?
It's like 38.5.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Vanderbilt might get that in the first half. Charleston Southern is one of the worst teams anybody plays tomorrow.
Well, and then bet in the first half because after that, Brian Edwards' godfather, Diego Pavia, is going to take his shoulder pads off.
Yeah, I think it's more of a defensive play because they're
38.5 and the over-under is 48.5. So, like,
right.
I mean, that just kind of tells you what, so. All right. As Matt says, we talked about Kentucky yet? Yeah, we just did, Matt. We did just talk about Kentucky.
I think that's Matt's running joke, is that not?
Yeah. Matt always wants to know if we talked about Kentucky yet. But, all right, it's late. We got a full day tomorrow. I know, Eric, sorry. This is Matt's gimmick. This is what he does. So
and we
appreciate
Matt. We love
him. We love Matt. Matt will be
Come
in here
here
with
to
plenty
the
to
game.
say tomorrow.
We're all hugging
game.
that. We're all hugging that.
Matt's given out hugs before, I think, in the chat. So we'd like one in return. All right, but we're out of here. Chris, send us on. And again, guys, be sure turn on those notifications because we will be going live multiple times tomorrow with our shows, reacting to these games. Hopefully for Big Baller Brett, we won't be going live with Alabama, Florida State, and talking about bad things for his team. But I know many of Auburn fans in here wouldn't mind if we did. But again, all kinds of fans for all the teams in the SEC here, so we'll have it all covered tomorrow in some way, shape, or form. We'll talk about every single game. Some may be in the nightcap for the primetime show. Some may be earlier in the day. but you guys will have it covered tomorrow here at Southeastern 16.
Yeah, can't wait for tomorrow. Gonna get to sit and watch football with my 11-year-old son, who is just like has been talking about these games for weeks. He makes me play the ESPN Game Day podcast while I'm taking him to school in the morning, so we can.
What about our podcast?
Prepare for all of them.
Want to listen to you?
I think he hears enough of me as it is,
Yeah,
so
okay.
that wasn't requested in the drive. He's like, "Dad, I want to listen to the ESPN."
Well, what about Jay?
So
You don't want to listen to Jay?
he doesn't know who Jay is yet.
Everybody wants to listen to me.
I think. Anyway.
What do you mean you think? Anyway,
I was gonna say I think like the whole time he's been alive, this is what I've done. So he just takes it for granted that Dad does this, and like if he wants to know my opinion, he'll just ask me. He won't go listen to our pods. So
that's what you're saying.
That's right, or maybe he just doesn't care. Gosh. Tomorrow's going to be so much fun. We'll have you guys covered wall to wall. Merch, yes, go get your merch. Help us out. There was something else there. It's gone.
we mentioned ROKFORM.
We did.
Lee Corso. That's what it was. Last one
yeah.
for Lee Corso. So look forward to catching that in the morning.
How about that? How about that? They're going to simulcast that on Fox. That's pretty cool.
Nice. Yeah.
So.
Good for them. That's kind of cool.
Hold on. On the way out, look who's here. Look who decided to show up at the very end.
Donovan.
At the very end. Donovan's like,
Arnold Jackson.
People were asking where was Donovan earlier. They're like, where is he? Well, he showed up at the very end. So there you go.
I never thought about it. If you reverse his first and last names, you get an interesting one there.
All right.
Some
Matt,
of us know.
We're closing up shop here because he wants to know when does the OnlyFans merch come out for SC16. That is not currently available, Matt. Will not be available anytime soon. Stay tuned.
Matt, don't drag it another
If anybody's willing to do it, it's me, right?
Stay tuned for updates.
I think that.
Stop talking. I just had my wife tell me I got to get off the screen. I got to go.
All right, Jay's going to bed.
Hey, on a true note, even though Lee Corso has had like a farewell tour already, like 5 years ago, tomorrow is must-see TV, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy has become, and I don't mean this, he became a cartoon character of college football, but then he became the lovable mascot of college football. And with the exception of Dick Vitale, I don't know of anybody at the worldwide leader who has meant more to their sport than what Lee Corso has meant to college football. And I mean that in the highest form of praise.
Well, and I'm glad they're doing this rather than some other circumstance. I mean, I don't know why we don't. Like, I wish, and maybe, like, just thinking out loud, like the Brewers, with Bob Uecker passing the offseason. Like, I don't know. I just think it's cool when guys like that get their due while they're still around to enjoy it rather than after. Anyway, I think that's it for tonight. We'll have you covered with 3 reaction shows tomorrow, Blake?
TBD.
3 or
at
4.
Least 2.
Okay, at least 2.
No, if we're doing 4, I don't know what we're going to do there. It's not going to be 4. It'll be 3 at most, but maybe 2, maybe 3. We'll keep you updated. Hit the notifications.
Yeah. Either way, a bunch of content coming. So we look forward to seeing you guys then. For Jay Greeson, for Blake Lovell, thanks for watching us here at Southeastern 16. God bless you. Have a great night of sleep, and we'll see you again tomorrow.